Greetings, gulls, and welcome back to another episode of Command. We're Pirates Mod, and I'm Rear Admiral Tarek of the battleship Infiltrator as we continue our campaign against all of neutral shipping. And last time, well, we pushed out into the middle of nowhere, ran into a couple of King Condor class dreadnoughts, and managed to kill them both at the expense of most of our fighter squadrons. So we probably should go home, but I'm also probably going to push out just a little bit further just to kind of see how far we can get. So we'll begin the day nice and relaxedly with an MET-10 patrol just to see if we can't get a little bit of action going on. Going to be fighting in the middle of an asteroid belt, which makes the action just a little bit more interesting. Set our plasma torpedoes to enveloping mode and prepare the forward shields for maximum reinforcement for all that good old defensive need that you're gonna need. We're also gonna come over, make sure that we start to prepare the Wild Weasel. That way we can hopefully protect ourselves from any sort of incoming plasma torpedoes that happen to come our way. Kick up the speed a little bit. I think we can afford to. Oh yes, we have more than enough power in order to just start ripping along a little bit better. Doing a speed of about 11, or at least calling for a speed of about 11, and that should work out okay. And of course we run into a Cardassian class warbird, which is one of the heaviest and most dangerous vessels in the entire Romulan Navy, and so we probably don't want to get anywhere near it. In fact, speed will probably be our great ally. Unfortunately, we only have a single fighter squadron left, so we can't exactly just do the one blitz suicide assault that can annihilate pretty much any vessel in the game. It's not as good as a Hydron Blitz, because a Hydron Blitz is 20 fighters compared to the 16 of pretty much every other major faction. But we might be able to make this one actually end up working. Although not with fighters, but with PPDs, because PPDs can solve pretty much all of life's difficulties. In case you're ever wondering about anything going wrong in life, just set up a PPD. I guarantee you that once the opponent stops twitching, you probably have solved the problem. So we're going to pick up the speed even more, because all of our... not all of our, but a fairly significant number of our weapon systems are prepared. The sensor decoy is complete. We're going to immediately begin work on another one. We do have to keep in mind our consumables are not endless, but a one-on-one duel kind of works in our favor against the AI. He looks a lot closer than he is because a Cardassian class, what would I describe this as? Dreadnought? Well, it is technically the King Condor battleship, but a Cardassian is a monster of a vessel. Then again, to be fair, so are we. So we should be able to just drift on in, fire our PPDs, and hopefully drift on out. Quick check of the power screen, see how much we have available. A little bit more. Gonna start utilizing even more. And then going to prepare an electronic countermeasure for all the defense that we could use. And engage with the PPD. 2. Good strikes on that one. We're going to get a lot closer than I had intended. I'm going to go maximum power on this one and see if I can't start pulling away enough in order to make this worth my while. I've already committed to the move. If I break now, I will never be able to stop in time in order to actually deploy my Wild Weasel. I will deploy a mine on top of him, see if I can't cause a little bit of extra havoc, and target this. Well, they already fired. Let's see if the aft shield manages to survive the impact. It did, although only barely. Oh crap. That asteroid, if we hit it, would have exploded us. So a real quick turn just off the bat. We have managed to cause a little bit of damage to him. I'm going to fire a port side plasma torpedo, see if he will respond. Although I fired it to the wrong target, I now feel like quite the idiot. Set up to this and fire all the pseudos you've got. Apparently you can't fire pseudo torpedoes. That is unfortunate. We're just going to keep the speed high and run away, because I really can't afford to attempt to engage these fighters right now, and they're too close to the mothership to dispatch my fighter squadrons to deal with. Do I have any PPDs? I do have a pseudo. Do I have to zigzag the other direction? That might be the case. It is the starboard plasma torpedo, so I should be prepared for that. We've taken quite a bit of damage so far, but I'd like to just get a good shot onto him. There we go, pseudo torpedo out the back. He's flying towards it, which means he should view it as a little bit more dangerous than you otherwise might would. We're going to prepare the aft reinforcements of the shield, should we ever have any power to do so. There's the crash stop. Had I fired, I would have hit him, because he did not have enough space to stop. The distance between them is 10. I'm going to dispatch my fighters, see if I can't get them to kill them before they can actually do anything. We do, of course, need to stay on top of the Wild Weasel production. That's very important. And hopefully my fighters will take out these interceptors before anything too dangerous occurs, because that'll be a nice amount of his firepower removed. So attack that. That's good. And now return, because I don't want them actually engaging the quad, whatchamacallit, D-type plasma torpedoes. Start to slow down a little bit so that we can start getting some charging going on the PPD, although I don't want to slow down too much. His plasma bombardment is way more powerful than mine, so we do have to be very careful about how we engage. Fighters zipping on back, having cleaned up his pseudo frigates, is going to be very useful for me. And the range is almost to what I want. There we go. Both plasma torpedoes are now away as we'll start to run as fast as we possibly can. He has fired basically every single one of his weapons, so I'm not super worried about that. Although we now need the charge time for our plasma torpedoes chunking through us with those phasers. But solid hits. Nothing too serious just yet because we were using enveloping plasma torpedoes, which means they won't have quite as much of an effect as you otherwise might imagine. Let's give him the gift that keeps on giving of more plasmas. The distance is 20, however, he's sprinting forward at a speed of 18 to 20 himself, so he actually should hit with some force. And a crash stop. And we managed to hit every single one of those. Oh, that's lovely. So I'm going to start slowing down so I can start charging up the rest of the systems. We're again going to prepare another Wild Weasel. There's no other shuttle that really matters at this point. So multiple Wild Weasels will be very helpful as we continue to move forward. Check above us because, well, we're in an asteroid field and we almost hit one mine already. So we'd rather not do that again. More massive long-range amounts of phaser firepower, so a little bit of a concern at that point. I think I want to prepare the starboard shields for the reinforcements. So we'll switch over. Starboard shields only, because I don't think I'm going to need the aft for a little bit. Although you could start cutting through it, and that would be extra double plus bad. Alright, power systems almost on full. We are producing a ton of electronic countermeasure, and that'll be 3, and we are through that front. Oh, that was a very good I-type plasma torpedo strike. Unfortunately, it's sapping our power tremendously now. I'm going to fire some light phaser fire in through that, and mainly because I knew he would respond like that. But this will give us a little bit of distance. We can switch our reinforcements back over to our aft, and we can cut away from the electronic countermeasure because we're no longer utilizing it. Also, he's not using it either, so we can take advantage of that. Oh, you'll notice we've got a little bit of damage onto the stern of the Deuterics. It is not having the best of times. Oh, we've got several important pieces of damage onto him, so we can just sort of steadily circle back in. We've got 2 more Wild Weasels to produce, and we shall produce them both, because at this point I'm almost committed to just building every single one of the Wild Weasels that I possibly can. Although, whether or not the fight lasts that long ought to be interesting. So the PPDs are almost ready to fire again. Not quite a perfect angle on this, and the timing is going to be very tight. However, if I manage to do things just perfectly, I might be able to pull this one off. And I'm really tempted to start pre-firing the PPDs from well outside their average range. So getting ready for that shot. Come on. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be greedy. Oh, too greedy. Too greedy. We are far too greedy. Okay, we're going to pull away. And a port side plasma torpedo engage. I'll stop. We're going to hit the brakes. And we will stop in time. Now, he still has 2 other plasma S torpedoes. And, of course, his complement of plasma Fs. But we did get another 12 damage on into the target. Gonna get ready to dump another plasma torpedo onto him. However, we are facing his incoming fire. So, yeah, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna bring up the port side plasma torpedo protection. I'm gonna bring over and reinforce the forward shield, because we're gonna sort of spin in on this one. That protection is fine, and I have another Wild Weasel, but I don't have a prepared point defense system ready to go with it. How's the shield swap? The shield has swapped. Okay, good. Slow down way far. See if we can't manage to absorb some of this. We didn't get all of it, but we got a decent amount. And we can now start to accelerate. He still has at least 1 more S-type plasma torpedo that we do need to be somewhat worried about, but he is also attempting to run away from us. Attack shift of 1 is what we're currently staring at. Let's see if we can't take care of that some. I'll go up to a 2 on an electronic countermeasure, see if I can't remove this first level of the attack shift before I open fire with my PPDs. All 4 of them are ready to go, and an immediate hookup on all 4 shots. This ought to do a good job of stripping most of his shields. Alright, so we're through one side, and we'll dump an S-type plasma torpedo as well. I think we're going to turtle up a little bit, which may be a bad idea. You don't really want to play one-on-one gunfight with a King Condor. They tend to be really, really good at it. So actually what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start accelerating to see if I can't pull away. We do need, of course, to prepare our last Wild Weasel. That way we'll have all of the one in the holes. And knock out his forward shield. Well, he did 5 damage through, but that's kind of to be expected. I don't want to fire quite from this range, but I do want to bring my stern around so I can get my I-type plasma torpedoes back in the fight. The range is a bit too long for trying to fire the I-type plasmas into them because they are still just plasma Fs. So with 2 ships traveling away from each other at a range of 13 and growing, they'll just basically never hit for any kind of damage. So there's no point in attempting to utilize such a power-intensive weapon for that role. Point defense phasers are going to fire. And we managed to ricochet most of that damage. Alright, I want to start pulling directly away from him. We're going to switch our shield reinforcement as we drag damage all across all of the shields. Although my PPD is basically ready to rock and roll again. Let's Let's see if he can't turn on in. If he starts turning it on me, I may have to be... Ooh, he's turning it on me. I'm going to have to be careful about this. Dump a plasma torpedo. And see if I can't line him up just right. This is much closer than is safe. Oh, a lot of misses on that one. A ton of misses through. That was very unfortunate. His attack shift of 1 was more than enough in order to take care of my counter jamming. But I don't really need it at the moment, so I'm going to set up like so. Counterfire from his phasers was able to cause a little bit of damage to my shields, but nothing too severe. Yeah, that SI plasma torpedo did basically nothing. I'm being tricked mentally by the distance that I'm seeing the ships at, and by the distance that the ships are actually at. If he's actually allowing me to hold in here, this might be a reasonably safe thing to do. I don't really like the taste of that in my mouth, unfortunately. Because his SI plasma torpedoes have a huge side arc, which could work in our favor, but it's not really clear about what exactly we do want to attempt. He's starting to turn into me, which makes me think his R's might be ready to go again. However, if I can just sort of hold into his backline, I can really get the pressure going. I'm going to start going to maximum electronic countermeasures, see if we can't take full control of this situation that is currently at hand. Switch the forward shield reinforcement to active. PPDs are just about ready to go rock and roll. He is pulling away at a speed of 16. PPDs are ready to go. I'm going to wait for the attack shift to go away because we're already at a breakpoint of just beyond range. A little bit more speed in order to see if we can't get things mostly sorted out. He's not turning away, which is good. Attack shift 0. Missed a hookup on 1 and missed it twice, but a good couple of ripple shots on into the target. We've done a good amount of damage on that shot. Really tempting to fire phases, but again, the range is not as close as you think it is, or rather that I think it is. So we're going to steadily keep the distance in back. PPDs, we have a massive advantage here, although if he's going to turn on in properly, he could actually cause a lot of pain for me. Although I'm really tempting, we'll probably pick up a X-type battle cruiser as we move forward, just because having 4 PPDs that fire forward on a vessel that can move incredibly quickly is a really powerful strategy. Plus you get the 2 PPDs that shoot backwards as well on that sort of ship. You lose out on the plasma for the most part, but it's a reasonable exchange, I think. Gonna wait for our PPDs to charge up again. I'm really surprised he's trying to run as much as he is. Well, he out-tons me. In terms of firepower, he is the direct King Condor, whereas I am the battleship carrier, which means I'm missing out on a couple of weapon systems. It makes me not quite as dangerous as I might otherwise be if I were the proper battleship. Right, he's turning in hard. He wants it now. There goes the S-type plasma torpedo. Oh, he gave up on the turn. He keeps giving up on that turn. Alright, we're committing to the shot, so I can get the PPD on target. And a stunning amount of damage on that shot. Oh, that was beautiful. Counterfire. Slow down. Drop it. I want to take the hit. Right, if you still have R-type plasma torpedoes, now's the time to use them. Oh, did I shut off before? I may have shut off before my shields were back up. Right, I was kind of hoping you'd be dead by this point. We're going to have to tank this one. Forward shield stunningly still intact. Alright, so he is mostly ruined. That's wonderful. Marines, how are we dealing with? 6? I can deal with 6. Weapons to half. All phases engage. Well, once we get a good target. He has all 3 of his S-type plasma torpedoes, but only 1 of his phasers. So let's cause some havoc and some pain and reduce him down to a complement that I can easily knock out. Let's see if I can't just get a little bit more pressure onto it. I'd like to put it as easy as possible, although I suppose it doesn't matter. We're going to be beaming over all the Marines. There we go. Alrighty. So that is a King Condor right there that we captured. Not a bad show. So you've managed to keep our fighters. We did go through more consumables than I wanted to. We went through a mine and 2 wild weasels. So it's not exactly the most beautiful of tactics that we've ever done. But that should give us a nice little bonus in terms of additional prestige for having captured the vessel rather handily. So, mission complete. Closing session. And now we can move on to the next mission. Oh, that battle took only 15 minutes. 426 prestige, and we're starting to push the pressure out further. Kind of don't want to keep hooking back towards the Romulans because I don't want to fight the Romulans. But I may not have much of a choice. Alright, hopefully it will not be King Condor, or if it is, I'll have escorts this time. But I kind of feel that it's going to be a King Condor. Developing plasma, wild weasels, forward shields, and electronic countermeasures. There we go. and maximize super time. So we may as well rush on through it. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll just be a random merchantman. But I kinda doubt it. It's a full-on dreadnought? Okay. So we are looking at a Condor of some description. The King. It's a Romulan optimized Condor. So a fairly dangerous one at that. These are some of the better dreadnoughts in my opinion. Purely because they have a tremendous amount of firepower and maneuverability. It's the maneuverability that really sort of catches you off guard. These things move at a pace that's only like 1.5 movement or 1.5 energy per movement, as well as having an extremely good turning circle. But more importantly, they have a 100% chance high energy turn, which is just phenomenally good. They're one of my favorite ships in the entire Romulan Navy, and yeah, taking this one on might be a little bit of a rough one. They're not as well armed and armored as the full-on King Condors, but they have more than enough in order to sort of give the opponent pause, which is sort of the main point of them. Alright, we're going to start cruising on in. He has deployed his pseudo-frigates, which we expected, and there are 4 of them for the maximum amount of pain that can be inflicted upon any person legally. And once we get within range, we'll fire and bail, because we really, really, really don't want to deal with the incoming shots. Start the paw. Pseudo-torpedo. Alright, so we got really good hookups on that. There's a pseudo-torpedo, I was wondering. And that's his full flush salvo. That's everything he's got. And a crash stop. Okay, we'll take that. That works for us. And they've also deployed all of their plasma torpedoes. So I will now fire my fighter off. The fun thing about the Romulan optimized Condor, though, is its point defenses suck. It's only got a couple of shots. I was not asking you to do that, but I'll accept it because that helped out significantly and made sure that you couldn't do any damage to me. Ooh, I shouldn't have done that. Well, it might work. Okay, now return to me. You'll have to pass through the group again anyway. I want to be careful about this. That is the key. I could fire my anti-plasma torpedoes sort of into the back of them. Yeah, there's no way my fighters catch up at this pace. So I'm going to have to start vectoring towards them. Go attack. I want you to hit these interceptors and let's kill them before they can do anything. So my PPD is not charging, which I'm less than excited about because I'd like my PPD to be fully ready by the time he comes out of cloak. If he wants to cloak hop, I can play that game for a little while anyway. So, just need to keep our distance nice and easy. Fighters moving at a speed of 22.9, which is actually pretty good. However, there's only so many fighters before they run out. Our ship looks gigantic to them. Well, it is gigantic, but still. And I'm going to zigzag back around. Fighters are huge because I haven't fixed the model. And wait for them to hopefully wipe out that fighter group with their Gatling phasers, which were ready. Lovely. So we will have this vessel continue the assault. You return me. And now attack. I want you to kill all of them. I'm going to start to slow way down. Hopefully he will be able to handle all 4 of the pseudo frigates before this guy actually manages to get back up to speed in order to fight me. That could be a little bit of a pipe dream considering the current pace of things. They are capable of doing a speed of 31, which is pretty impressive actually. I wonder if that's a battery charge. Alright, so are my PPDs charging? Do I have sufficient energy in them? I don't, because I'm charging the electronic countermeasure. Oh, never mind, I do. So we are charging the PPDs again, which is good. Because I'd like to have them online. Come on, fighters. Get onto the target. So as long as I can drag them into the fighters can do pretty much all of the hard work in taking care of them. Of course, if the Romulan optimized Condor finally shoots them down before anything good happens, that would be less than ideal. And they picked up the pace hard. So I'm going to see if I can't bait that shot a little bit. Because I can't imagine he doesn't have his F-type plasma torpedo ready to go. Have you slowed down or are you turning back down into him? So that would be wonderful. Just need to give them time. They are catching up just slowly. I'm just trying to bring them back on into my fighters, because my fighters are really, really well designed to take out pseudo frigates. The first thing that they've got is they happen to be carrying a whole ton of Gatling phasers, which just butcher things, especially light targets like this. So once they can get in the range, they can do a lot of damage. What are you? Do I know what type of fighter you are? Well, to fire the plasma torpedoes at the fighters, that's less than ideal. A lot of plasma torpedoes to the fighters. Come on, fighters. Get on target. Your range of 3, my man. Don't turn away from him. Turn on into him. I'm gonna engage. Use our phasers. Okay, that's dead. Fighter squadron, can you do me a favor and kill this? That's all I want dead. That's all I'm asking for Christmas on this one. As we slowly charge up our PPDs. After this, I then have to let him get back to me so he can redock. And that's not going to be a particularly great time, because we're going to have to waste just a whole ton of time. Okay, good, got him. Get back on board my ship. Start to slow down a bit more, so I have more power. And he's not challenging me with electronic countermeasures. That's really surprising, actually. I've only got 1 PPD. Paracita. And maximal power. That's his R. The range is 10, which is really good, actually. And that's a crash stop. Come on, fire everything. That's half of everything. That's not good enough. Oh. Game is pausing to think, because a lot of plasma just came its way. Alright, aft phasers will be on point defense. That'll be fine. They'll probably pick off most of this R-type plasma torpedo, if not all of it. Good. So we should take minimal damage. Didn't even make it all the way to us. That was the plan. He still has half of his plasma torpedoes, which we do need to keep in mind. We can't be overly aggressive on this one, but I can start slowing down, recharge the PPD. His forward shield is pretty badly damaged, and right now he doesn't have any sort of point defense that he can utilize because he's just deployed 2 of his shuttles. I think he has another 1 or 2, but the main thing is his shuttle bay is currently offline. If we go in hard and aggressive enough, we might be able to take advantage of that, but that would be a very risky play, and we are sort of all about trying to keep the ship alive. I don't want to actually lose the vessel. So I'm going to start coming right on in. We're going to get a little bit closer than we otherwise might want to, because he's currently sort of jinking to the side. I am on the side that he's already fired his plasma torpedoes on. Are you running? Oh, that's an interesting strategy. He may be trying to pass all the way through because to bring his port side weapons into alignment on this. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. I'm just going to give him some wide berth on this one. I'm in no hurry. I have time. He doesn't. That's the plasma torpedoes out the back. Is this both of them or just the one? I think it's both of them. Well, at the very least, it's his S-type. And we can just burn this one down. And then we can dive on top of him with fighters. So I will put my fighters basically right on top of him. Phasers taking that. Took a little bit of damage, but that's not too terrible. And so if you go back into cloak, I will deploy my fighters on top of you, friend. That's what you're asking for, isn't it? Alright, so our PPDs are mostly ready to go. We still have 2 that are still charging, but they're pretty much almost ready to go. The distance is closing well, so we should have a good line of sight and opportunity to start causing some damage right on through that forward shield, because it was already at red the last time we saw it, so unless he manages to fix it, which he might, we should have a pretty nice advantage here. That's our range. Good hookup on all 4. That can't be real. Is that? I don't think it was real, because he already used it, and we didn't increase the speed of time. It was real. Holy crap. Aft shield's taking one heck of a pounding. It's about to take even more, because I doubt I'm going to be able to protect it. Yeah, this aft shield's going down. Okay, so it is through. Did you break anything? Managed to dent my engine a little bit, which I'm not super happy about. Let's deploy the fighters. Really surprised he got the plasma torpedo ready to go. We're going to start turning it back on in. And let my fighters get on top of the target, because once they're there, when they fire their Gatling phasers, they will deal tremendous amounts of damage. And we're going to prepare with a pseudo-torpedo, just in the wings. Although they're going to they're not going to just hover on them. They're going to fire the moment they get down there. Yeah, that's less than ideal. We're going to pass through. Switch our shields to all aft to protect our fledgling wee shield. J.A. Hart, hoping to stun. And we didn't get the stun. Well, we kind of got the stun. He deployed a Wild Weasel, but it might die just in time for my fighters to drop on in him. Ready to call him home. They did a good hit on that one. And fire all of our high types. So that's a little bit of a panic maneuver right there because he is starting to accelerate away from me and the range is a bit long. But every little hit might stun him. And as we come around, we're about to have a PPD ready to go. We got 2 of them set, with another one going to be ready shortly, and another one ready about a half a turn after that. And he's lost most of his shields. So fighter's back home, going to play it nice and safe. PPD's on target. Ooh, bad hookups. One of them managed to miss half of its firepower. That's very ungood. S-type plasma torpedoes, his are starting to come back online, so we do need to start giving him a wide berth, because my aft shield is not up to the task of taking any more hits. So I don't want to surrender that initiative entirely to him, but I don't think I have much of a choice. At least until I can get my plasma torpedoes back in order to give me some space with fighting him. His turn is continuing to try and cut on in. I really want to keep him on the steadily spiraling outward distance, and that does not favor him, and he probably won't operate in that way. It's a smiley face. So if I can keep this turn going for a bit, it's the wrong side for me. It's my starboard side plasma torpedo, which is going to be ready in not as quickly as my port side, which is less than grand. Build distance. I want to keep around a range of 15. That'll make me feel nice and safe and easy. It'll be an easy out should the worst happen. Let's see if I can't force him. See how you'll respond to this. Are you gonna crash stop? Because that would give me all that I need. The distance is a bit long and we're not exactly going at each other. We're doing sort of a steady spiral. And no response. Might give me a free plasma. There's his R. And we'll pull away. More and more and more. I can't pull away from this one enough. So I'm gonna... Yep, that was the plan. It's not a great plan, but it's the plan. And that plan actually kept my shield intact, which I'm actually kind of surprised about. Show me 4. I guess I don't have any of them. Alright, so he's mostly dead at this point, so we should probably be able to curl right back on in for the final blow. Because I think I've got him. I mean, his S-type plasma torpedoes are still intact, but I don't think they're intact anymore. So we should be able to just slowly get ourselves on target. Start to slow down, give ourselves a little bit more defense. And give me the angle. Good hookup. Cutting right through all of his shields. And 3. And all weapon phaser follow-up. If you survive this, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Oh, we already fired all our phasers. Marines. 7. Yeah, that's too many. So he has got nothing. He has nothing left. Increase the speed of time. He's got a single phaser. That's not enough. I'm going to capture you. So a little bit more damage here. Just a few more hits. Then the Marines. There we go. We've managed to capture our second Condor of the game. The first one, of course, was a King Condor, and now a Romulan optimized Condor, which... Okay, I was about to say you can make the argument is the better of the two, but I don't think you really can. The King Condor is just so overwhelmingly powerful, it's almost kind of unfunny. So another excellent mission complete. We did take a small hit through our shields, which we were able to repair, and that should not bother us later on. So that'll be nice. 372 prestige is a reward for a job very well done. And that's going to do it for today's episode. I have been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time we post one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.